Hey everybody, Mark Russo here. A little chilly outside as I've got the winter cap on, but nice and toasty overall in here today in the indoor studio. Just finished up with the lesson and I wanted to share something with you today about using feedback and simple little guides on the ground for building skill to find low point and make better contact. Just had a gentleman in here for a lesson, and what was happening was he was hitting the ground way behind the golf ball, overly shallow coming into the golf ball. So there are two ways that I like to help people find the ground, make better contact with the golf ball and then the turf, as opposed to the opposite, which a lot of people do, either from being too steep or too shallow. The first one, a simple way that you can start to learn how to move your pressure in your feet, and I'm standing on my body track mat, which I used with him today. First one is, this is one of my favorites, is 3 lines on the ground. And this is a skill drill. And simply what you're going to do is I've used foot powder to spray it on the mat. I've got my center line, which is where my golf ball will be. I've got a line about 3 inches behind and 3 inches in front. And what I'll ask students to do, if they struggle with finding the turf in the correct place, which we want the golf ball and then the ground, I'll have them do opposites so that they can learn what it feels like to move their pressure in different places. So we might say, okay, on the first one you're going to do what you normally do. You're going to stay back and hit the back line, and they'll stay back and they'll feel they're hanging into that right leg. Then I'm going to say, okay, now I want you to go the extreme. I want you to move your pressure left far enough where you're going to hit 3 inches in front of the golf ball, which we wouldn't normally want to do, but we're going to do that. And they feel a pressure movement going left. And what we can also do is we can throw the screen on the ground and have them see some of that with the body track mat as their center of pressure moves. And then what we're going to ask them to do is say, okay, we're going to hit in the traditional spot. We're going to hit the ball and then the turf, so we'll hit the center line. And then we'll make a finish. So what we're teaching them to do is move differently in extremes and build the skill of finding the ground in the right place. So we'll do 1, 2, and 3. And then we'll put the ball down and have them fire and hit one and make good contact. And what you'll often find is when you work on extremes, finding the good center place gets a lot easier. So you really need to work on, if you have a struggle staying back, hanging back, learn how to move your pressure correctly and get it going left so you can hit the ground in the right place. And with the gentleman who I work with the body track, he had a lot of pressure moving way to the right, and at impact he would have 53% of his weight on his right foot at impact. No wonder he couldn't hit the golf ball and then the turf. So we worked on staying centered over that center line, moving his pressure laterally left and finding that front line, the extreme forward skill, and then finishing. And then what we would do is we would throw a ball in there and have him translate it, and the contact got much better. So if you're struggling with contact, get some feedback if you can. If you can find somebody who has a body track mat and work on it so you can see your pressure movement in your feet. But also 3 lines, hit back, hit way forward, hit the center one, put a ball down, and then let's go. And build the skill of finding the ground in the right place. And I think you'll start to see, you'll learn how to move your body to find the golf ball a little bit better. Hope that helps, and we'll see you on the lesson tee.